Alright, so instead of having these fair fights I've been putting up on YouTube, I decided to create an unfair one. Because if you're flying the F-5 out in the wild, you are very unlikely, unless you've made formal arrangements, you're unlikely to get that fair fight head-on pass, mutual merge that I've been doing on these last few videos. More likely, you're going to either be down on the deck waiting to ambush somebody or high up in the air, maybe ingressing or egressing from a strike or something like that. And here comes Mr. Mirage to stop you from doing that. So what happens? You're at a disadvantage, you're at range, he can pop you with those Super 530s before you get close enough to use your weapons. So you either have to have him not notice you, which is always possible, or failing that, you're going to have to learn how to dodge some long-range missiles. So that's what we're going to do today, hopefully. So what I want to do is, if you're, he's at range, he's got a lock. I'm going to put him on my beam, and I'm going to dive. Because I'm going to need that speed for one thing, but for another, it might throw the radar off, and it might cause the missile to fly a lead pursuit into the ground. I was able to trash that missile, and if I can find that Mirage, I'll just try and put a Sidewinder in him. There he is. I think I see him up here. Boom. Alright, so I'll probably go over that and break it down a little bit more in tag view so you can kind of see what I did. Okay, so this goes for dodging missiles as well as trying to throw off a gunshot from a bandit, who's in pursuit of you. In the canopy, if something is holding still as you maneuver, you're in some deep shit. It's when you make a turn and that object moves relative to you that you may be okay. So you'll notice when that missile was coming in on me, it looked like a stationary dot. If it's stationary in your cockpit, you're screwed. You need to do something else. Either keep diving or pump more countermeasures or make the turn or something like that. So I'm going to put him on my left wing here again. Maybe we can see more of that. Maybe I might have just let the missile hit me so you can kind of see what it looks like if if you're one of those lucky people that don't know what an incoming missile looks like, then that's great. See how it's kind of not moving? I'm popping chaff. Dive a little bit more, try and throw it off, and see how it starts to move right there? That's when it lost its track. So once you see that, you can move to engage or put yourself in a position to dodge the next missile like this. Just furiously pump countermeasures and hope it misses. Now he's within my envelope, and I might be able to get a shot on him.
I want to cast magic missile.
Or more likely, the missile I didn't see ended up hitting me anyway. And that's what you're up against in the F-5, man. Man, I almost got that missile off, too. I had my thumb down. It was ready to fire that missile, and then pop! Right there. So, yeah. So you're almost always, unless you're fighting a MiG-15 or something like that, you're almost always going to be at a disadvantage just by flying this guy here. Maybe MiG-21. That's always a good matchup. Anyway, so you have to wade through this onslaught of missiles to get him within range of your weapons. And if he knows you're there, which he always does because he's got a better radar, then he's got better thrust. He can turn better, at least once anyway. Okay, now I trashed it. So you just got to be ready to deal with that kind of stuff. It's harder, but if you want it easy, you'd be flying the F-15, right? He's up here somewhere. There he is. I might actually have him this time. Fox 2. And alright, so now we've got a merge. I'm coming over the top of a loop, which means I'm a little low on energy. If I could find this guy. Times like this, your radar might actually help out a little bit. I don't see him. Looking for a blip here. I don't see a blip. Scan up, scan down. Meanwhile, he's probably up and over because he's got that huge thrust advantage that I don't. And I'm waiting for the magic to come and smack me in the ass. Okay, RWR. Always turn that on so you can see it. Alright. Pump some countermeasures. He already knows where I am, so I'm not going to give away my position by dropping flares. He already knows that because he's AI, and AI cheats. Well, he must be really... Wow, there he is. Alright, so... Against a Mirage 2000, anything with a big-ass delta wing like that, they have a huge lift advantage, which means they can turn on a dime once. So if you can keep your energy up and force him to try and make that kill shot and fail, you might get him. It's always might. Because once he makes that turn, induced drag being what it is, he's going to be slow. Fortunately for him, he's got a big-ass engine with an afterburner, but that's also a nice kick-me sign for my Sidewinder. So let's come around here, and looking pretty good. Assuming my Sidewinder doesn't hit flares. Should be a pretty decent shot. If not, I got this ready. And we're both real low and slow here. Come on. And now he does that AI zoom climb shit when I'm already dry, and he's not. That's just, alright. Boom! I've had enough of your afterburning nonsense, sir. Thank you. I said good day, sir. I said good day, sir. Anyway, that was fun. That was actually a pretty good fight. So, yeah, that's the general idea. It actually kind of showed what to do reasonably well, ideally. It doesn't always work out like that, as you can see. You know, I've got a ton. For these videos that I'm showing you, there's like 10 of them where, like, the scenario didn't play out the way I wanted it, and I just ate a ton of missiles. Like the Super 530 wasn't spoofed. I didn't dive hard enough. I'll try and show you those cuts and where things didn't work out. Kind of show you how it can go wrong. And the difference between dodging and not dodging can be just a few miles per hour difference, a different angle of dive, different timing of the turn. You know, just these little minute differences in flight patterns and countermeasure releases. So what you can do then is just set yourself up to fail. Like, look, this is a high and dry, you know, he's got the advantage here. So you can just keep practicing something like this where he gets a few shots on you before you get to close, and you're going to eventually get the feel for it. You just have to lose a few times, and that sucks for your ego, but it's good practice, right? Anyway, I hope that's fun and helpful, and I get some more like that. Maybe next time I'll try against the F-15 or, you know, Sukhoi with some R-27s or something like that that's really nasty. Now, the Super 530 is no joke. Man, flying the Mirage, I love those things. They're pretty accurate and hard to dodge, so if you can get past those, you've got an almost even fight, depending on your energy state at the merge. So, yeah. I can go on and on about this. I'll just throw some more videos. Alright, so this is, I just wanted to show you how, just a few different evasions that worked and didn't, so you can kind of get an idea what they look like, and like what the very subtle differences between a successful dodge and an unsuccessful one are. You'll notice that a lot of times there's not that big of a difference. It's very subtle. Here, I think I just didn't dive fast enough. And again, you'll notice that on these clips where I eat the missile, that missile is rock solid in the canopy. If I do these little, you can just finally adjust your flight path a little bit, turn, adjust your dive angle and all that. Excuse me. And if that missile doesn't move, you're doing it wrong, or you're not doing it right for long enough. See a little dot out there. And a successful dodge at the last minute. And it just kind of just goes to show that there's really no, in situations like this, there's no 100% foolproof way to dodge, and there's no 100% foolproof way to make the kill. It's all probabilities. So all you're doing is stacking the odds in your favor by doing these evasive turns, by doing countermeasures, getting it as perfect as you can possibly get it. Even if you do everything right 100%, you're still likely to eat some missiles. That's just how it is. See the difference between that was a pretty good dodge, and a turn to re-engage here. Between that and the first two, if you look at those, like my airspeed, my flight path, and my release of countermeasures and stuff like that, not too horribly different. And this I left in there to kind of show what should have been a win but wasn't, and kind of how if you're in an F-5, even when you get into fight on your terms, there's still no guarantee of win. He can still get on your tail. He still has the same IR missile types that you do. So if you're going into this, just get ready. Don't take it as a bruise to your ego if especially if the more sophisticated aircraft shits you down. It's just gonna happen. And another example of what not to do. Anyway, this is the most recent. This is the that last engagement where it showed kind of how to do it rightish, or correct-ish. So you can see here, going to my diving turn, still closing on it, but the longer this missile has to fly. Yeah, I want to cover that too. Just watch my, I have a missile evasion tutorial. I'll throw that in the link. That might help. Just kind of get the basic concept. I'm no master at this, but I know the idea, and it's just a matter of practice, right? So the longer this missile has to fly, the farther away he is when he fires, the less rocket fuel it has, the less energy available it has to do what it's doing to make its turns or whatever to intercept you. So if he fires far out, that increases your chances of survival. It gives you more time to evade as well. So I just dove and put him on my beam and started pumping chaff and flares. And you can see right there, boom. You can see where it decided that is my target, and it started moving in my canopy relative to me. How do you look? Okay, here we go. Let's so you can see it's standing still, standing still, standing still more or less, standing still, stationary, stationary, and then boom, it decides to. That's what you're looking for. That's when you're safe-ish. No one is ever truly safe, but that's as close as you're going to get here. And my Sidewinder almost hit him, but that flare might have saved him, it looked like. And now we got a turn fight. Which goes, I almost said in my favor. Oh man, that was a horrible turn. Oh, this is when I couldn't see him, that's why. I was like, man, I just turned right in front of him. Yeah, that's when I lost sight. Okay. So, what do they say, lose fight? lose the sight, something like that, right? Alright, that's when I pick him up visually. And looks like he made an aggressive turn somewhere here, right? That left him a little low on speed. He's low on speed. He can't make his awesome high alpha turn with that big ass delta wing, and it lets me to kind of keep my energy. I mean, I'm bleeding dry. Look at this. Look at this. Look at my speed. It's at, was it 250? That's pretty slow, and it gets even slower here before I make the kill. So I am quite slow, but he's even slower. He did a zoom climb, stall it or something like that, came back down. I missed with my second Sidewinder, so it's down to guns. And thankfully, boom, I was able to pop him like that. Let's see what else we have in this little bag of tricks. Let's get that sign out of the way. Might go through these a little quickly here. Alright, there's the Super 530 shot. Again, pumping countermeasures until you see the missile stop tracking you. When it starts moving in the canopy, then you're okay. Well, relatively okay to that missile. What you may not be okay for is the follow-up shot, which I think is what gets me here. Boom. See, that's, look at that! Look at that! That is a, it says Matra, but that could be Super 530. I think that was actually a magic. I want to cast magic missile. So I thought this thing had gone for my countermeasures. I didn't know it could turn that tightly. That's nasty, man. So I'm like, okay, well, I dodged 2 missiles. I'm gonna just go head on and try and smack him in the face with a Sidewinder. Guess what? Didn't work. So there's that. You know, as they say, you kind of sometimes learn more from your mistakes than your successes. Okay, that was the same. Okay. Repeat, sorry about that. Let's see what this one was. Steeper dives really seem to help a lot. Okay, so here's missile number 2, and it looks like, I don't know what type, but look at that. So that missile made 2 hard turns. I'm coming up here trying to plug him in the face with a Sidewinder. First one misses, second one makes contact. That could have gone either way. That was real close. You see, that's like this. Look at that. Had I not popped flares, or had I been going just a little bit more slowly, that could have easily had enough energy to get me. Boom. That looks cool. Let's see what this one has in it. Okay, that might be alright. Alright, so standard dive and evade. Missile coming for me. Pumping countermeasures. It decides it wants that chaff. Okay, so I pull up to re-engage. I think this is the one where I actually tried to fire the Sidewinder, and no, that's not it. This one I think I just got lucky on. Oh, you know what happened here? It saw the countermeasures that were still floating in the air from the previous evasion. Yeah, that's what that was. And I come over the top like an idiot. Can't find the bad guy. Had I seen him right here, had I not lost track of him, that would have been an easy kill, right? But instead I turned left because I'm a dumbass. I can't find the bad guy until right here. And look what happens. So I didn't lose the fight here. I lost it right there. When I came up over the top, I think it's right there when I lost visual. I mean, shit. He had just done 2 hard... Look at this. He just bled a lot of energy in that hard turn. If I had turned right instead of left, I might have picked him up, and I might have been able to face shot him. Pop. But I didn't. Let's see what else we get. I've been doing this all morning. Yeah, if you're getting bored, feel free to skip the video. Alright. Another standard one, and... Wow, that was close. I think I didn't even see him on this. Let's see. Fired the missile too late. Okay, pick him up. Just puking countermeasures out. Blech. Not quite enough time. Yeah, that closure rate was up over the top, and it looks like I lost sight again. Boom. Smack. Okay, let's look at that one. That one's actually kind of interesting because it shows a good engagement for him. I make my turn. I'm trying to rely on the putting him on my beam alone and using countermeasures to spoof the radar. So I do a dive, but it's not enough. And that thing just can follow me. If you get lesson here, I think, from what I can tell based on what I've been doing this morning, if you're going to dive to throw off those missiles, you really got to commit to it and get a nice steep one going on. Maybe 80, close to 90 degrees is possible. 80 is probably best. 75, somewhere in that ballpark. And even then, you can see from that steep dive, it's not quite enough. It looks like maybe if I started spacing out some countermeasures a little earlier. Yeah, and you can see the difference between dodging that thing and not. Pretty minuscule in some cases. Pop. I think I didn't lean into the afterburner heavily enough either. Let's see. Pop. Like I said, I got hit a lot of times before I started figuring this thing out. Pop. Yeah, these aren't too fun to watch unless you like seeing me get destroyed. I can understand that. Let's see what we have here. Oh, that's against my F-5s earlier. Okay, that doesn't count. That's not what I was looking for. It's even labeled as such. Okay, well. Alright, I guess you kind of get the idea. There was one in particular I was looking for. I think this is... No, that's not it for sure. Anyway, there was one where I was... it was another one where I did a successful dodge of the nasty magic missiles. And this might be it. Nope. Okay, trash the missile shot, turn into it, dodge that one. Over the top. Oh, you already saw that one. Okay, well, you know what? I guess we're probably good on this. You get the idea. Anyway, thanks for watching. I know this tag view analysis was kind of... it took longer than the actual fighting part, but I thought that would maybe be better if you want to watch this and figure out how to dodge those freaking Super 530s might be a little more, I guess, helpful to you to see it from outside than inside the cockpit. You kind of, at least academically. I mean, you do need to put the practice in, get a feel for when to turn, how fast you're going, and all that other good shit. And not to lose sight of your bad guy. Anyway, thanks for watching. Again, let me know if you have any ideas on stuff you want to see. I'll see what I can do. Later.